right, we want to welcome you to Casting Point. This is our very first podcast here at the Point Church, and we're excited to kick this off. We're going to be talking about some really great stuff. We're going to interview many people, and we've got a great team here at the Casting Point, and so want to introduce you to the team. This is Matthew Parker, otherwise known as Matt Parker.
Howdy.
And this is Joey, who is the technical guru, and he's going to be joining with us whenever he can as well. As a matter of fact, he will always be joining us because he's the only one that knows how to push the right buttons. Because when I'm in there,
the problem with knowing everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Blessing and a curse. Blessing for me, curse for you.
Love ya.
So we all do some interesting things around this church building and part of the church. And my job here is the lead pastor. Matt is obviously the worship director. And then Joey is on staff as well. Many people don't know this, but we actually have Joey on staff because there is no one better at making sure that the technical things actually
no one better at making
happen.
It work.
Right.
I'm what you call a professional guesser.
Professional guesser. I like
that.
Yeah.
Can I also be a professional guesser?
So there's some connections that we have. I don't know if you knew this or not. But I was thinking about this on my way in here today. Is that there is something that connects the three of us together besides being here on staff at the Point Church that probably nobody else in this congregation, probably this area,
got it.
Probably maybe even this city that has the connection that we have.
No one else is as good looking.
Besides our dashing good looks, what else could it be? You were so right. It's our good looks. However,
we all hate cats.
We all hate cats. That's true. That's true. I didn't think
I'm pretty sure, though, everyone, there's probably more than just us that.
There's a cohort.
Yeah, there's a few.
We have a Facebook page.
There's plenty of people on that team. No, what would you think? Okay, stop and think about this. Just a little bit of our backgrounds. What would be a connecting point? What would be one common factor that we have that nobody else has?
We love Jesus.
I think there's other people that like Jesus too, though.
I'm guessing. That's why we had the job. Wait a second.
Wait a minute. Right?
We just love them a little bit more than everyone else.
Ooh, wow. And there's also a lot of heresy that will be on this podcast from time to time. I'm
absolutely certain.
I love the Hershey.
No, tell us, what is it?
What is this? Where we went to college at some point in our lives was, and a Christian college at that, in the big state of Missouri. Misery. Oh, yeah.
The good old
we all went to different types. Joey and I actually attended Joey actually graduated. I attended for a short time. Ozark Christian College. And then Matt, you went to Central Christian College, which is our liberal brother.
Oh, it's so liberal. I loved wearing long pants.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
Could they be jeans, though?
Yes, actually, which was kind of nice. They didn't have to be slacks, so they did encourage slacks.
We couldn't even have piercings at Ozark.
No piercing?
I couldn't wear shorts. I could wear shorts. And it was the dead of the heat in the middle of the armpit of America.
So, Joey, there's certain piercings that they wouldn't even know if you had or not if you always had your shirt on, right?
No comment.
Routine checks. Routine checks.
It was kind of like in the Bible, how did they know whether someone was part of the circumcised or not?
Routine checks.
Routine. How would they know?
Walking into the temple. Yeah. Routine checks. It's like
anyway, so
security.
So yeah, we all went to Bible colleges in Missouri. So
some experiences were better than others.
Yes. Some experienced long term. Some
experienced
short term.
Really short term.
Some experienced being invited in. Some
experienced being kicked out.
More like thrown out, Tim.
Yeah. Sorry, Joey.
Oh, no. I graduated in 4 years. I graduated on time. Other of my friends kind of remained in the college campus for like 5 or 6. We called those super seniors.
Super seniors.
Like it. Like that term. The other thing is that I was just trying to think, but we've got a lot of years between us, between when it was North Point Community Christian Church,
Yes.
North Point Church, or the
NPCCC.
Point. Yeah, right. NPCCC. There's 3 C's at that. I just held up 4. There's 3 C's. North Point Community Christian
CCC.
Church. Yeah.
Between when it was NPCCC to TP, there's a broad spectrum of numerical
But we've all
change in
experienced
the
it.
length of the name.
So there's many years here. Joey, how long you been part of the...
I started coming back in 2003 and stuck around for a bit, and then went to college, came back, and then I moved away, then came back, and I've just always been here.
More or less 18 years, given the times that you were gone, but still, I mean, this was your baby.
Yeah, and I started running sound like the year after I got in. So ever since then, I've been an audio engineer.
Then he has been
whether it's been for
Suck
the
me
better
back
or
in.
the worst.
So many times.
the Joey signal. And Joey comes driving on in.
Much
What's
like how like Jesus' second coming, like Jesus is coming. Like whenever I come back from like Missouri, it's like Joey's coming.
I cannot tell you how many times Joey's like, I'm going to be taking the weekend off. I'm not going to be here. And next thing you know, we're calling Joey. Hey, Joey, we can't get X, Y, and Z.
What you doing this morning? Hey, and he's what do you need?
And that's why I go places that have no cell reception.
It's a good way to do
And some
vacation.
people wonder why we look or sound the way we do. It's because Joey took the day off. So, yeah. So, tell us a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. People get to hear my story often, and I'll be sharing it while we're on our podcast over the times. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell me, Matt, what is your history here? And you
long.
left. You left us, man.
I did.
You took
I
off.
abandoned NPCCC for the long time. So when I was just a couple months old, my father was offered a job here after going to college, also in Missouri. I think that was while he was at Ozark. He was looking for work. My mother and he were married and had just had me. And after receiving the call, they decided to come take the interview. He got the job, and we moved here when I was just an itty-bitty baby. And thanks to me, they actually had friends because everybody wanted to hold sweet little Matthew. I was here for a while then. My family and I kind of took a little hiatus, moved away for a little bit, came back. My dad got the job back again. Worked here for another number of years until we moved to Sedona, Arizona. Planted a church there. And then eventually, lo and behold, I came back and I got the job here. And I am 23 years old, and the majority of my life has been spent in this building. So, I mean, with a roughly 6-year-ish, if you collect all the years together, I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Joey.
So I started coming back in 2003. I think it was 3, like right into my going into high school year. Freshman, Ma wanted to make sure that we all started going to church. So she's like, Joe, if you love me, you go at least once.
Oh boy.
Yes. And so I went that one time, met my first
Love
Hungarian
guilt
friend
factor.
and my only Hungarian friend, also named Joseph. I think we were having I think what got us was you guys had like an after church brunch where there was like food there. And then I met Joseph's mother
I actually remember the name of that brunch, that lunch.
What was it?
What was
You remember it being called Jellin.
Yes.
That I actually don't.
The
I don't remember.
Jellin, yeah.
I just remember always being relatively
Jellin like a
miserable.
felon.
I always remember being relatively miserable when I had to eat hot dogs again every Sunday.
Well, I know for a fact I had nachos that day. So ever since then, it's like I've been coming to youth group and whatnot. A year after that, I wanted to get baptized, and I did some really cool events. And then the year after that was when I was like, okay, I think I want to go into full-time ministry. And so, I got to go to the school, and I didn't want to go close enough to a particular college that rhymes with a president, or that has the same name as the 16th president. Don't know if I can say that on air. But that college I felt was just way too close. And then, so I'm like, you know what? There's that other college, Ozark. That's like 10 hours away. That's enough where if I went far away, like I would have to do my laundry there and not ever come home.
You would actually know if your parents were on the way and have time to prepare for them getting there.
Yes. And so, I went there, and it was like one of the most, I'm really good at math. I'm really good at science. I scored the highest on the SATs. What I sucked at, though, or what I was bad at, was the reading and writing. That's where I got like the 18.
Pretty crucial.
Oh, yeah. You go to a college that has zero math, and the only science class is creation science. It's like, wow, I really had to like build myself up in the other regards. So
the literature department.
Yeah, and I didn't like public speaking. I don't like this for whatever reason. Like, this is weird, but I wouldn't have done this even more if I didn't go to that college. But yeah, after 4 years of Bible college, which I did graduate with my bachelor's in youth ministry.
Nice. You learned to read and write while he was at college, which is awesome.
Reading and writing's good. I learned that I might not want to do youth ministry, which I minored in. So it was like I was getting all these offers, and it's in Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And so that's when I made the decision, I'm going to go home. And so I went home and was like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And technology has always been like the back burner of everything. So I hope I'm not going too long. Is this all right?
Finish the story.
Oh, jeez. No, this is good, actually.
I should have gone longer now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're still young, so you don't have...
It's true. My story's not nearly
You're still pretty short, yeah.
You're still building his portfolio of his story.
I'm what you call 32. I'm past my 30s.
Ooh.
And getting past my prime. So
old.
Yeah. So, I came back. I got an offer down in Missouri after working a bunch of odd jobs, like hot dog vendor and valet. Not ballet, but valet. And went down there. Things didn't work out. Came back, and then just dug in. Started working odd jobs again, and finally got to where I was like working, being a computer technician for a school district. And I've been at that job the longest. But then I've always been volunteering here, whether it be sound, learning lights, learning video production, learning. In this last year, learning online streaming, like we've evolved quite the ways since when we started this. So yeah,
it's been a fun year. I'm glad we had this pandemic year to be able to do some of the things that we've done. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things, my whole story is adaptation. Like, how do I adapt in certain situations? Losing math, losing science, and doing reading, writing. I adapted in a really good way. I learned how to use my introverted skills to be more extroverted, like having that sudden burst of extrovertedness, because I don't like people. I mean, I like people, but I like myself.
So did it help with the... I had no idea that you were a hot dog vendor.
Yes.
Wieners, get your wieners here. I mean, how did you have a call? I mean, did you draw people in when you were vending, or did you just stand there and let
I had a mother that was like, hey, I need someone to work this hot dog shack with me.
The hot dog shack.
Was that before? That was before it was a shack, right? That was when it was a trailer?
It was always a trailer. I call it the hot dog shack.
Oh,
but
I thought that
for the people of Winthrop Harbor, they will know Hot Dog Harbor and how awesome it was.
I mean, it was huge.
Harbor.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Hot Dog Harbor.
I just
I thought when you said hot dog vendor, I'm thinking this guy out on the street with a little push cart.
Yeah.
We had those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you never ran those though, did you?
Well, I usually just stood where I was and made
Hot
hot dogs.
Dog Harbor had you didn't have to sell hot dogs. They were the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were just the best around. You just came and
it had a heyday too.
And there was always people there. There was always great people, great conversation.
Loyal customers, scooter nights and all that stuff.
It was one of those local pop-up places where all of a sudden all of the locals flock there and they talk about it all the time like it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, It's incredible. And then you go there and you have it and you're like, oh, it's a good hot dog. But it's really that community that was built around it. That was the reason that people just kept coming.
No. It was a great hot dog.
Oh my god!
And there was community too.
I'm sorry, but a hot dog is a hot dog.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a great hot dog. If you can present me with a great hot dog, Joey, and I can confidently say, wow, it's a great hot dog, then I will admit that you're right. But I've never to this day had just a great hot dog.
Dogs that the dogs were made from.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and that all came from one locally sourced spot. There's no extra little bits.
This was loins cut into. Yeah.
Cut into? You mean ground and then put into a meat sleeve that was then tied like a Tootsie Roll?
That's the one. That's the one.
People are not going to like you guys. You have no idea. I tell you.
Now
I need to preach the good word of the hot dog.
Oh crap! The competitor, the northern competitor,
just got brought up. Oh my! But your whole family worked there from time to time, didn't they?
Not my dad or my brother, just my mom and my sister.
Okay, I thought it was like a family affair dog place.
Hot diggity dog. Don't know. But people didn't know though was that. I mean, they did know because of, in the evenings, but we were always known for the shakes.
Really?
Yes. The shakes were, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The owner, Roger. I'm so sorry, Roger. I apologize. Roger he would go out and he would taste the, all the different types of qualities of custard. He would even go for the roast beef. He would have to personally taste it, and he would go to these different vendors and find out which had the best quality of meat, best quality of custard. That
sounds like the dream.
Yeah, and
And actually, he didn't go to the vendors and buy it. He was just tasting people's. He would just go around and take a little bit of. Hey, can I try that?
but
it worked.
It did work. And what happened was that's what gave us the quality of taste. Everyone wanted to come to us because we didn't skimp. And that's why the price was just a little bit higher than everyone else, but it tasted amazing. And I would always take the custard myself. When I was having when I was really tired, we'd make a pot of coffee. And I'd take that custard and put it right in the cup of coffee. It was so delicious.
I did that. That's kind of funny because there's another strange connection between you and I, Joey. I've worked at 2 different ice cream parlors. I worked at both Cold Stone and Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins did pay me a quarter more, but Cold Stone was more fun.
Cold Stone, man, there's some. I have not had Cold Stone in a long time. They had
great
ice cream.
Great
ice cream.
And I never got tired of it like they said I would. Yeah. You'll get tired of it. Never. No. So I was the sample all day kind of guy where I was like, oh, I'm a little hungry. I could order food or I could maybe have brought a lunch. No, I'll just eat some ice cream.
Yeah, I had that same problem, but hot dogs are a whole lot more calories when you make multiple mistakes.
Yeah, I hated messing up somebody's shake that I now had to drink myself.
That would be terrible. That was a terrible mistake. That's why I could never work at a pizza joint. I'd screw up so many pizzas and guess I got to take that home.
Yeah. I had pizza for lunch today. And thinking about that now, I would really like more pizza.
So, wow, we've had a lot of different experiences. Mm-hmm. We come in from a lot of different angles, and actually, we've all experienced some amazing churches. I know, Matt, even your dad has even planted a church or two, and
that was fun.
Yeah, no hard work there.
Not at all.
But we've all experienced some really dynamic churches and some different experiences at those churches, and it makes me think about who we are as the Point Church. I was just meeting with somebody just this last week, and they were asking me about the church and this, that, and the other, and things about the church. And I said, everybody thinks that their church is unique, right? And then we start talking about our uniqueness, and you go, oh, that's not so unique from other experiences and whatever. But every church has its own flavor.
Absolutely.
You're right? And it's because we're all a little bit different, and so whenever you have a different makeup of people, it's going to make a unique experience for each church. So when you think about your experiences with other churches, and you think about the Point Church, what do you think is kind of our niche? What do you think is our uniqueness, if you will, as a church, as a body of Christ? Because I love churches. Let me just state that. I feel like I need to throw out a disclaimer, is I absolutely love churches. I love pastors. I met with a pastor today. He's at a church here in the harbor at the Baptist Church, and he's only been here for about a month. And so we went and had lunch. Newbie. Yeah, he's going to get worked over. Newbies always do. It's fun. Yes, they do. But I think he's going to do a fantastic job. But I love pastors. I love churches. So that's my disclaimer. It's not that we're beating down or thinking we're better, but it's just I think everybody has their own unique takes.
Just as people are created in unique fashions, I think.
So what do you think our uniqueness is?
We got this guy called Tim. Very unique individual. Very unique.
That there is a flavor of its own kind.
And I wouldn't call it. I might call it a stench.
Depends on who you talk to. I
don't know. I mean, I think in the past, and we would hear the phrase a lot in the past, before maybe some of our more recent transitions. But I hope that the phrase really hasn't changed. It was like, I came for the music and I stayed for the people. And we hear that. I mean, we would hear that a lot. That became like a phrase that we could put quotes around because we heard it so much. And I pray, as the guy who puts the music together, that people still come for the music because it was awesome. But
those are usually the weeks that I'm running sound.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. Really just...
I win the humility award for today.
And humble.
I think we hear that a lot, though. And I think that a lot of it is true, is that there was a draw that got people. Like when we did the parade, we used to do the parade every year. This year, a little different. We do have a parade coming up, but do the parade and the band's on the back of the float. We would just really, really rock on the back of that float, and people would be like, what? And then you have the little murmurs out in the crowd, like, oh, that's my church. Yeah. People go, what? And they come to check us out, and then they stay because of just kind of how intentional I think that most people who come are about loving each other. And I think that is not necessarily something that's unique, but it's something that helps to embody the flavor of the point.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because we've had actually people come maybe later. They went to the parades or they got the flyers, they heard about us, and then it might have been years later that they finally decide, hey, I'm going to go check this out. I want to see this for myself. And it was funny because I've heard this so many times. Just that Labor Day parade in Little Zion, Illinois, that people would sit there and go, I couldn't wait for that float to come around the corner. Of course, they usually heard us before they saw us.
A long way before they saw us.
But they would look forward to that because, again, it was the music. It was good. It was quality. It was loud. And then all of a sudden, this mass of people would come walking by and hand them a freezer pop and not just throw candy at their kids.
Not just, I mean, like we threw the freezer pops.
We made boomerangs out of them. Actually,
oh my goodness!
Great. But yeah, I think people recognize that part of the church.
Well, that level of intentionality
important. Yeah,
that level of intentionality, both with the music and with going and meeting the people. And I think that we have that opportunity in a lot of different ways. And I think that we have a lot of people who jump on those opportunities. So like we are willing and ready to serve.
Yeah, I think that's what people see. And I think they recognize is there's, we could sit here and say all day long that we're going to strive for excellence. But striving for excellence is kind of a relative term, right? Because each individual has a different standard of excellence. Yeah. But being intentional about here's our goals, here's what we want to achieve. Now we can all get on board with that and accomplish it. And
a unified level of excellence.
That's what that was always like a problem with me was I'm like, okay, we got to do this the right way. We got to do this. I mean, like how I would like my perception is like excellent. We can't screw up. But I think both you and Matt both have like we just got to do it and then fix whatever it is that we need to make it better. And I mean that's my biggest hindrance. But you guys have been really pushing me out of my shell to make things to get things done.
Looks like the fight for content that's going on like everywhere right now is everybody's like, we got to get content out there because there's so many consumers and COVID is creating this crazy consumerism and everybody wants to watch videos and everybody wants to be a part of something. And you kind of just have to get out there and try it before you can really kind of like nitpick at the little things. And that's been awesome for COVID for us because we went from having everybody in a room to having nobody in the room. and having to put together music and teaching
And going from a closet to a classroom.
Yes.
To now we can go back into the auditorium and do videos and then we're back into this.
And it's that level of
classroom, and
excellence.
it's just striving for more intentionality about how we are doing things with excellence. So that is good.
Excellence isn't a launching point; it's a place to get to.
It's the goal. It's the And laying that out, what that looks like, I think is very important, and I think people have caught that and see that
For sure.
and want to be part of that, which is
fun.
Which is fun. Yeah. Joey, what do you think? I mean, when you think of the experience here and what makes us, if you will, unique in our experience, what do you think?
Ooh, well, it's what's weird is that every time I've left and come back, it's like I see different faces. I see I don't want to say it's a whole new church, but it's like the identity is always changing. Like the people, my friends, people that I used to know are like off doing their own thing or doing something new. I mean, Matt, your family, like moving away or
moving away and coming back, moving away and coming back.
Well, it's almost like a board, a diving board. Like people will then use, I don't want to say use the church, but will jump from this to something else.
Yeah, like a launch pad.
Well, a launch pad. Yeah.
I use the term, if you will. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I use the term often. Is that I've seen us as a sending church.
Yes,
sending. Yeah, that's
sending church.
That's a good word. Yeah.
So we have this great. God has given us an amazing ability to draw people in, but we don't necessarily go, okay, we're going to hold on to this.
Yeah,
my precious. It's more like how do we grow people up and mature people, and then send them out to go, and make kingdom work.
Striving for discipleship while we have them, because we know God's going to take them away.
Yeah,
they're not our people; they're God's people,
and it's very transient. I was talking with that pastor today. I was telling you about, and I said, I think one of the things you're going to learn is that this is a very transient area. Yes, there are people that have been here for generations, but a lot of people move in. I said a lot of the companies that we have in our area, a lot of pharmaceuticals or medicals, are moving people in and out. And then you've got the Great Lakes Naval Base. Again, people come in, amazing people come in, right? We've had some of the most amazing people come through that work with our military, but then the military moves them away. And so that short amount of time that we can pour into them and create disciples, and it's amazing how many people take what they have learned here and go and recreate that or try to recreate that in other places.
Express that wherever they go.
It's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, something else, though, that I love about The Point. I almost said it.
Where's the cuss jar?
I didn't.
We should put one in here.
We should.
I was like, but I didn't say it fully. But something else that I really like is that we have this weird this ability to, whenever there's a need, whenever there's like this mission, wherever there's like this drive to do something, like everyone just digs in and then sprints. Like, I don't know if it's with you, Tim, like you're the reason why, or it's just within our nature, but like going from a food pantry, like we need to grow this thing. So how are we going to grow this? We need to raise $200,000. Okay, well, let's raise this money. Or
movers and shakers.
If we need to raise a bunch of money for a specific, Operation Chris, or not Haiti.
Outpour.
What we did with Ebenezer Glen Orphanage, raising money for that.
Well, I thought it was incredible. I mean, every time that there's, like you said, there's a need or something, man, this church is one of those that they just step up to it. We needed a well. We were hoping for a well.
Awesome.
Haiti. And come to find out, number one, when we first thought about it, we needed like $7,000. Turns out, we needed about twice that, per well, and we ended up being able to dig 2 wells.
So numerically, like that's incredible.
And like you said, the food pantry, the Giving Point Food Pantry,
huge.
Which started, I laugh because Joey, most of the time it's like God hitting me or hitting us upside the head, going, go bigger. Because I was just like, let's just build a garage. Because I was just like, let's just build a garage for storing the food.
A garage.
A garage.
Nice try.
Yeah, he's like, you are an idiot. How many times have I told you? But no, it's the people. The people catch the vision, people catch the direction, and I've always said that is
Absolutely.
when it comes to events, when it comes to making an impact into our community. I think about all the different times that we've done Rebuilding Together, which we'll have a project coming up later this year with Rebuilding Together. It's amazing when 60 people show up at a house and say, hey, we're going to help you stay in your house. Because a lot of times by the time Rebuilding Together gets involved, people might be losing their house. Yeah. And so this community says, hey, we're going to help these people. And it's amazing.
There's a lot you can get done 60 people in one house.
It's crazy. It's like somewhat organized chaos keeping everybody going. But it's
and all you got to do is hey, I need something to do. And there's some leader or someone that's like, here, I'm going to show you how to how to do this, the soldering some pipes, or I'm going to show you how to dig or put a hole in the wall, but like a structured hole in the wall,
an intentional hole.
Not like an intentional punch the hole, but if you need to learn how to work on a home, come to this, and there will be people there to help you out.
You a new homeowner like me? Best thing you can do: go to Rebuilding Together and watch everybody learn how to fix a house. Right. So when yours breaks, you can fix it yourself.
But I think that's Joey. I appreciate what you said there too. Is when I think about why I think from the redundancy department of redundancy, why I think. But what I think of when I think of the uniqueness of the church is the amount of transparency. Because, you talk about how big and people coming in for the large events and making things happen on large scale. I think there's something else that's more personal that's still at a large scale, and that's the transparency. I think there is something about this culture, this church culture, that transparency is huge. I think people talk and share and discuss their brokenness probably like I've never experienced in any other.
How you doing, Tim?
Dude, right now? No, actually.
Yeah, but that's like when asked a simple question like, how you doing? Willingness to actually talk about how they might not be doing so great.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit. I give a lot of kudos to the founding pastor here, Dennis Corley, because I think that quality, if you will, or that characteristic of the church started with what he laid down as some of the foundations of who we will be as a church.
Tremendous.
So when you think about intentionality of love, acceptance, and forgiveness, those three words in and of itself, when you express those things, right? When you express unconditional love to people who don't experience love or may be unlovable, let's just admit it.
Yeah.
and a lot of people think that they are unlovable, and maybe they have acted unlovable, but when you show unconditional love for someone like that, or accepting people who don't feel accepted, right? And you show that kind of acceptance, and when you demonstrate a level of forgiveness that many people have never experienced before, man, it just opens, it just blossoms, it just expands, and then they want to share that with others. The interesting thing is that sometimes that's a scary point for many people who may have grown up in a church that didn't have quite that type of openness and transparency towards that. And it can be intimidating. So we try to walk people through that process, but it's kind of like what you said, when we do a big event, things, it's big, and we want to do it well, and we do. I think on the personal level, it's just as expansive, but it's in that transparency.
Now I have this it's a weird concept, and I have a lot of them. But
really, Joey,
absolutely,
yeah. But to quote Dennis Corley, when it really comes down to it, it's we have this weird concept of not being normal. So, when you think of the concept being normal, what does that mean? That means to adhere to a certain standard societal, or certain the society's standards. Of putting on a right face, or putting on makeup, or whatever it is that you need. I mean, it's whatever it is that you got to do, you have to play to a certain caricature of society. And for North Point, dang it,
Where's
For
that swear
the
We
point.
need that jar. We got to get that
We'll just
point
put
jar.
it in there next to you because you're the one who's going to keep saying it.
I don't like you guys. No. But like for me and for a lot of people at this place, the point, we embrace the weird. To be different, to be abnormal, to be ourselves, and like that is where like what you kind of saying is that we kind of cut through in a different way. Like we're unique, we're different. I kind of lost the point that we were kind of going on, so I'm gonna fade the camera back to you, Tim.
I was glad he didn't say embrace the suck, but we have talked that. We've actually, we say, I mean, life is hard. People are messy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you come here, the first thing that you're going to realize is that people are messy. And that's okay because they're messy because they're human.
That really cliche term,
you know?
no perfect people allowed.
Yeah.
Well, realistically, no perfect people allowed.
Right. And so, yeah, you learn to embrace that. And I think it is a huge drawing point and unique aspect of the church. And we're not saying that other churches aren't loving, aren't accepting, aren't forgiving, but it just seems like here it's just out there.
Yeah.
You know, that people are able to share their hurts, their frustrations, their messiness, and we're able to work through that and disciple people.
Well, there's a reason in vision casting that we keep saying it, because we want people to understand that this is how we want to operate.
Yeah.
Not only do we want to operate this way, but we want it to be shown to anybody who walks in the door that they are welcome to operate the same way.
Right.
And I think in being intentional, especially with Dennis, I mean, he was very intentional about being a personable person who met everybody.
Right.
And expressed that to everyone. I think that really set that solid foundation that now we get to build off of as ladder staff, you know, that we can still travel in that direction.
I think what has happened is, as that model, you know, as Dennis is the model of how that can look, what it did was over time it translated into the people, because one person can't be that for all, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking just as the pastor to be the one who's shaking every hand, loving every person, accepting every person, forgiving every person.
You better hope you're better hope
because it's but when the people get it, and the people, when the church gets it, let's say it that way, because it's the church. We are the church. So when the church gets that and they start expressing that, and let's admit it, it's not a perfect way, because
absolutely not.
Here's where it can fall short for some people. You know, you've got three guys in this room right now, and how we all receive love or express love may be completely different between the three of us. And so how we accept, you know, how we demonstrate acceptance, how we demonstrate forgiveness may look a lot different for all of us. But I think the consistency of us doing our best with intentionality, I think that comes through.
Absolutely.
You know, so we're all going to express love, we're all going to express acceptance and receive those things differently, but the intentionality that we're going to do it, and the expectation, let's put that there. The expectation is, if you're part of this congregation or if you're part of this church, you're going to do it. And I think that's a great expectation to have with people.
Yeah, that right there, each of us is going to demonstrate acceptance, forgiveness, and love in all those different ways, and because we receive them differently, it causes me to think about how in my ministry, when I'm operating with my volunteers and with people that I see on a Sunday morning, how am I demonstrating that to them, and thinking about how that's different from how I see you demonstrate it, or how I see you, Joey, demonstrate it. And they are very different. Because the first thing I thought of is when you said it's different for each, it could be different for each of us. Is it different for each of us? And I think it is in a lot of different ways. Because when I am demonstrating forgiveness to somebody or acceptance to somebody, I almost operate as though I've always known them and just met them. So it's one of the funny things, I call it funny because I'm sure it's like a defense mechanism of some kind that I've just adopted into my personality. But I make this joke to people all the time. When someone introduces me to someone new, I say, oh, we've known each other forever. We're best friends.
Right.
And then in that moment, I've established both to myself in my own psyche and to them that I accept you. We're friends already. And I don't have it. There's no barriers being built between the two of us that would give me any reason to not forgive you for everything that you've done.
Right.
So, and I don't know. Is that how you guys operate on a level of forgiveness? Solves that awkwardness?
Forgiveness is a tough one, and actually I'm looking forward to it because Shannon at the end of July is actually going to be preaching on this topic of forgiveness, which I think in this series that we're in is, we can believe some really dumb things that aren't necessarily biblically correct, but one of the things that people say is that forgiveness is forgetting.
It's forgetting.
And you can't. But, forgiveness is totally releasing someone, right? And what we don't understand is, and I think we do, I should say that. I think those of us who have learned how to forgive understand how we are released.
Yeah.
Right? The chains are released from us just as much as they are from the person.
In some ways, it affects them way less than it really affects you.
Yeah. And so once we understand that forgiveness is as much about our being released from the chains of being held captive by what we think somebody else did to us, and releasing them from it, it really releases us from the chains of bondage.
Now I have a story that can really incorporate to the understanding of forgiveness from the tech aspect. And many of you might not know what it's like to be on this receiving end. Maybe you do. I don't know. But when you're running sound and all of a sudden you make this wrong note, or something happens where now the pastor's mic isn't working, and you have a heart attack, or you make this really bad feedbacky sound where you just like, and
Joy's not admitting that he does that all the time.
And then you get 600 pairs of eyes staring right at you. Like you're just like,
soul.
Oh my gosh. You're like that, the woman naked before Jesus.
Really? That's the first thing that goes through your mind, huh?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's biblical.
Yeah. Nudity in the Bible. I don't know. Let me tell you. I'm sorry. You can't take me anywhere. So, the whole what I was trying to really get at is whenever like our volunteers like on the tech team makes this what they feel is this horrendous mistake, they're like, oh no, the lights didn't come up like right away when I hit it. What is everyone going to think about it? And I'm like, just wait till next week. Everyone's going to, no one's going to remember it.
They're going to be looking at the new
Nobody's going to
mistake
remember what happened last week.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's people have a tendency to forget, but one of the greatest ways to move past something, and I think there is a tendency for us to, when you totally release somebody, right? And it's totally releasing somebody, your mind can not focus on that any longer. So you may not totally forget it, but you're not dwelling on it.
Yeah. In no way are you sitting there letting it like in a nasty cesspool, like,
it's like you left the cesspool and then you kept on moving on.
The cesspool's still there, but you don't.
So one of the funniest things that I remember with Joey happened not long ago.
Oh, great.
Oh my gosh.
A recent story.
So when my mic went out, just, I don't know,
which week?
Month and a half ago.
Which week? Because it was like, there was like a 2-week gap and it happened twice.
Yeah, but it was the week that I ended up
This was probably the worst one of the two.
Oh, the one where it went all the way out?
Went all the way out. Dude, it was gone.
Yeah.
And so I see Joey at the back trying to figure out, what do I do? Got to fix this. And then he decides he's going to bring me a mic.
The handheld microphone. And that was right after your wife gave me like the worst eyes. Like, not worst eyes, but like the scary eyes.
Yeah. Which you never want to have.
No.
I've seen those eyes.
I've had those
I
eyes.
love your wife, but those scary eyes are, there's a reason why she's on the scary mom.
She was voted second in the scariest moms list.
Second.
Right after
your
mom. Yeah. So anyway, Joey, this is right after we had, we've only been open a few weeks, and people are wearing masks, and Joey was back there in the sound booth, not by himself, so he didn't necessarily have to have a mask on, and he's walking up to me, and you took your mask on and off like 3 times. Just, should I put it on? Should I not? Should I put it on? Should I not? Should I put it on? Yeah. So from the back of the auditorium to the front, you had that thing on and off 3 times, and I almost busted up laughing. I wanted to share with everybody what was happening, but nobody else would have gotten it because nobody else could see. But oh my gosh, that cracked me up.
I was I was more of a nervous wreck at that moment than when we had the Super Bowl Sunday video when the projector ball went out.
Oh, yeah, that was big.
Yeah.
On the day of the video sermon.
Joey, you know what you should write? As a book on all the technical faux pas that have happened.
It'd be a huge book.
How not to do
you
tech
remember
ministry.
that time?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So with Casting Point, we're doing something different with this podcast thing. What we want to do is we're going to probably be far more intentional.
Yeah.
About, we're going to bring in some people that we're going to interview. We're going to talk with some people, some great people. We got a heck of a list that we've been talking with people to come in and share with us. And some of them are going to be Christians. Some of them are going to be church people, and some of them aren't. And we're going to be talking about maybe some hot topics, which I'm very much looking forward to, because this is a place. If there was any place on this planet where people should be able to come in and share their thoughts and their opinions, and not feel like they're being crushed, it should be here, right?
Absolutely.
That we can talk openly about some of these hot topics, and so that's what we want to do. We're gonna be doing that and talking to many local, I shouldn't say celebrities, but business people, and there's going to be maybe some government officials that come in and talk with us, and so it's going to be interesting to see how this Casting Point moves forward.
Casting Point Season 1.
Season 1.
Local. Casting Point Season 2. Craig, if you're watching this, we'd really love to get you in this room.
Yes. and we're going to come to your locations. Actually.
Absolutely. So we would love to be guests.
We're going to be going to Hawaii, and no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I don't know who Craig is.
The Casting Point on location. So anyway, we're very much looking forward to what the content that we're able to bring to you guys. I hope that you're able to be with us, share it, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and share it with your friends, because I think this is going to be fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, have some interesting conversations. And speaking of YouTube, what are your favorite YouTube channels? What do you watch? Now, maybe I should back up and say...
You know what? What are your favorite YouTube channels, Tim?
I heard a tidbit that there's at least one person in here that almost has like an addiction to YouTube. Now, I'm not going to mention any names, but the person who gave me this information was Rhonda Parker about her husband.
Oh, crap, me? I just whispered Joey's name into the mic. We were just talking this before the cameras were rolling. I was thinking me too. It's probably me. If we did hours watched, it's probably still me, because I can actually label like an hours watched. No, there too.
Joey's
a late night binger.
Yes, this is the reason why I can't sleep at night, because I got to have my YouTube.
This is why I can't sleep at night.
But I'm a passive viewer. Like I've got the dual monitors on my desk. So whenever I'm like, if I'm playing a game, or if I'm writing a chart, or if I'm doing whatnot for work, I've typically got a video on the screen to my right, and I've set my desk up in a more unique way now that we moved into our house. I wanted to make it like more polarized, so I have like one right in front of me and one like off to my right. So I actually have to turn, be intentional about looking. That way, it's not distracting me, but at the same time, it's still there. So, I mean, I'm a passive viewer as well as an active viewer. So like when I'm finished with what I'm doing, I can finally turn my chair and watch. But I mean, I'm subscribed to quite a few channels, and I like to watch long videos, whether it's like a breakdown about biblical topics, or if it's some people playing D&D or something. Like I watch long videos, like 2 hours plus on average.
Wow.
But I like podcasts impressive. And stuff like this. Yeah. So I mean, like, this is like a dream come true. I've been like super duper excited all day when we were like, we're actually gonna be able to do it tonight. Got the camera fixed, got the TV, got everything, got the computer built. We're ready to do the podcast. And I'm like, oh.
I'm glad I tested everything before I left last night. I was here till like 10 o'clock at night, and the door down by the, I don't know if it's the bridge room or whatever room where that TV is down there, closed like twice while I was here, because I like propped it open. And anytime that door shuts and you're the only one in this church, and it's just pitch black, you obviously think it's like the Holy Ghost.
There's nothing scarier. There's nothing scarier than an empty church building. Why? I have no idea.
Well, it's everybody. What is that? That Office quote? I'm not superstitious.
Yeah.
And
this building moves so much.
Yes.
It just moves.
Under the wind, you can hear all the walls creaking.
Yeah. So,
and I was very judgmental. I'm sorry, Merlin. I was very judgmental of your night lights whenever we first got them, those lights we've got plugged into the wall that really light the building up. I was like, if I've had to work in this building till 2 in the morning, in the middle of the night, in the dark, and no one else was here, why does everybody else now get night lights? And now I'm really grateful for the night lights.
I was really grateful last night with those night lights. It's just like whenever you turn it on, the demons cannot come get you.
Yeah. We've got night lights now. The demons can't get into the church building. They could before, obviously.
Mm-hmm. But I tell you though, I mean, YouTube, like you pull up my phone, and I've listened to a few of the initial videos that we had here, and then some of your sermons. The whole like, I pull up my phone, I look at the data usage, and I go, "Wow, that's a lot of data." Or like if I go on long road trips, I'll pull up a YouTube video, and then I'll watch like Tony Campolo. I got like one of his sermons that I'll just like listen to always. It's Friday, but Sunday's coming. Or just like I'll just listen in the background, kind of like you, Matt. Or like I'll play something. Like I'll play like the people that I listen to regularly that like throw out videos every day. The content creators.
Yeah.
Whether it be, heaven forbid, political or something of that nature.
Joey, no.
The P word. I know. I want. Like. I mean, I like listening to just different viewpoints and everything. And I mean, that takes up a lot of just bandwidth. That takes up a lot of time. Or I'll do it as I'm doing things. Or like if I want to be entertained at like 10 o'clock, I'll start watching like my favorite like GTA 5 role players that just do like goofy things. And that'll... Like,
video games, Tim. Come on.
Yeah. Or I mean like just it's...
GTA?
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, stealing cars, shooting guns. Come on.
Come on now.
But I'm the GTA evangelist. Like I'll go in there and
tell people about Jesus.
Yes.
That's why
no, I won't.
I'm going to steal your car
do
and tell you about Jesus.
I play World of Warcraft not because I'm a
it.
massive nerd, but because I can preach Jesus. Actually, I did hear an awesome story about that. Mm-hmm. About people who would gather online before this was, mainstream for us to do thanks to COVID. But people would get on their games, they'd meet up in the world, and they would all sit down and listen to a teaching. I actually saw that happening once, and I was like, this is the future.
Well, did you hear about the World of Warcraft wedding?
Yes.
The World of Warcraft wedding, where I don't know if they met in World of Warcraft, but then they
met in the game.
And then they got married in real life, but they also got married in the game too.
So a virtual wedding.
Which are wildly popular now.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was cool before it was cool.
But what I was...
So did they create their own images and put it into the game? Is that
Yeah.
Well, no, it was more like they created their character and everyone knew their character based off the character.
Yeah, come on, Avatar.
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 I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
kind of. It's pretty much like that. You get into this blue body, but
it's that same concept of the person you created, and now you're like driving them like a
which
car.
I had an extreme headache because that thing was like 3 hours long, and you had to wear the 3D glasses.
You watched it in 3D.
Yeah, and I had such a migraine by the time I walked out.
The second one's coming out next year.
We're not that kind of channel. But what I was trying to get at, is like for me, like when I was a kid, and I don't know if you were like this too, Tim. Did you ever go to arcades, Tim?
We only had Pong when I was growing up. Bing! The little ball that goes
You
back
had Pac-Man, Tim.
Pac-Man. So did you ever watch people play video games? Like you were like behind their shoulder, over their shoulder, looking as they watched? Or as
yeah, but usually you were waiting for them to lose, so it would be your turn. So no, I don't know if you're going towards this, but no, we didn't sit and watch other people play games just for the fun of watching. We were just like, hurry up and die so I can play.
Well, and this is the weird thing. Like when I was growing up, I would always want my cousin to come on over
and play, so you could watch.
Put in GoldenEye on the N64 just so that I could watch him play, get all the achievements, so that I could like watch the whole progression, because I always felt it was way too hard for me to play by myself. So like I would have him play, and then I would enjoy the story, or he would get me all the items for cheat codes for like Double Rock. And
I guess I'm a little too competitive, because I would just be bumping them, trying to get them to screw up when they were playing, move the joystick. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh, bump.
Yeah, I didn't like playing games by myself. I think was one of the big problems. Like I didn't like playing. Like I wanted to do sports when I was really young. But because of the way that my family kind of moved around, and they were playing shows at camps and stuff, so I was going on the weekends, and so I couldn't really commit to playing a season of any sport. So I gravitated towards things that you could do more quickly, spur of the moment, like video games and playing outside. And I didn't do anything that was heavily structured. So I think that whenever it came to video games and stuff like that, for me, it was like I wanted other people to come and play so I could watch them because I didn't want to do it by myself because I had no like corporately structured friend time like all the rest of my
Yeah, but I'm serious. You'd rather watch somebody do something than do it yourself.
Tim, do you watch football?
You know what?
Do you watch the NFL?
No. I used to.
You used to.
But I got really ticked off, so I don't.
But you used to, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah, but you know what I would enjoy better? Playing. That's me though. See,
playing
okay,
in the
so
NFL.
Here's a little into my psyche. I'm not a big concert goer.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be on the stage playing and not for the hey, look at me. It's just I'd rather be participating
absolutely
that way than watching something. But that's just who I am, you know. So I'm more instead of going and watching a softball game, can I be on the team? I'd rather play. So that's just the kind of personality I have too. So it just lends to that, but it just drives me nuts when I saw my kids watching Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'm like, serious?
You're watching. Joey and I are both like, we get it.
We're watching somebody else play this stupid game. And it's not even a game. It's you're building stuff. So you're watching somebody else build imaginary stuff. Anyway, so it just drives me a little bit crazy. I don't fully get it. But hey, you know what? I still love you guys anyway.
That is kind of why we're in essence, it's kind of why we're doing this. Because, I mean, we've been watching people do podcasts and videos and stuff like this for a while. And I know Joey has too. We've always kind of had that FOMO of we want to be making content. And so to have this opportunity as a church to kind of be able to embody that from our own platform is really, really exciting, really cool.
It is. I love being able to share, you know, but I love to listen too, from that standpoint. But I want to have some substance.
Yeah.
And rarely am I not listening intently to something. You know, we were talking about podcast, and everybody on this, you know, we were talking about different aspects from different staff members and this, that, and the other. And the thing of it is that half the staff said, I just listen to them.
Yeah, listen to them passively.
But I'm like, if I stop what I'm doing, because I'm doing things, if I'm stopping to do something, I want to see what I'm, you know, so I like to watch them. Yeah. I'm not just listening to them. Maybe if I was driving down the road and listening, that's one thing, but I like to watch because I'm stopping everything else I'm doing. And so it's got to be good content also. Yeah. You know, I want it to be worth my while.
And that's why you got me, because I'm the eye candy.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we put you in there
and
give you limited talk time. Hey, camera on us. Whoa.
Okay, it's on you now, Matt.
Too much.
Now give us a smile. Ooh, the smolder.
And so you were talking about a couple of stuff, dude. I'm like 18 minutes and I'm out. You know, so I'm checking out other things. So, anyway, it's different, but hey, we're gonna continue to bring hopefully very good content for you guys, and it's gonna be fun, and we look forward to it. So again, share, like. And we will be seeing you probably on an every other week basis as we get started here. Yeah. And it's going to be great. So
subscribe to that YouTube channel, guys.
Absolutely.
YouTube. So
ring the bell. That's a thing now too, isn't it?
The notification bell, so that every time if you click on it, it will if you click on it, it will bring up something where it's like all or personalized. You want to do all, so that every time we put out new content, you will be notified when that new video is posted.
Yeah.
An angel got its wing. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. We will see you soon.